Well, what a week last week, huh? I'm telling you what a week. Strong end to the month, just incredible action. Melt up continues. If you will look at the SPY, we did close the month of October down, closed strong, closed at highs. So we're kind of widening in here, which is interesting. Had this nice engulfing candle and then another engulfing candle almost. So just really strong close to the month on the SPY. If we go break down to the weekly chart, you can see full breakout mode here. From this nice little dip reversal off this level in here. We look at the daily level. Let me auto zoom in here. Just surprising day on Friday. Not bad volume, just nice reversal. We had a bunch of earnings and economic reports come out, which we'll get into in a minute. And if you look at the hourly, you can kind of see where we are. Closed strong, got a high of 459.79 on the SPY. Nice little breakout off this little lid in here. That was the lid on the week. So, you kind of got your bracketed levels right in here to go forward. QQQ, same thing, strong, just doing well. Rates kind of falling off a little bit, which has allowed tech to be strong. Just nice strong to the finish rate in here on Friday. Volume not bad. If we go break down to the hourly, you can see all the indices well overbought level 2 on our oscillator. So it's going to be interesting to see how they open up going into the week, but just strong action, especially given how weak Apple was, given how weak Tesla was, not Tesla, Amazon was, Starbucks was weak. Friday we came in futures. If we go back to the SPY, futures were really settling in down a little bit, and you can see just surged out of the gate. Dip buyers showing up pretty nicely, and and nice strong close into Friday. Just people, just melt up as far as that's concerned. So just nice action there on the intraday. Small caps not getting the memo. Just not participating right now. Still going sideways. So if you look at the monthly chart, how we finished in October, still kind of going sideways in here. If we go to the weekly chart, you can see a little bit more broken down. Trying to break out of this range, but just not to be had. If we go to the hourly, you can see kind of had this lid in here that we printed Wednesday and just couldn't break through it. And the intraday actually closed off their lows, which was a nice surge. It was just complete market on close orders. The imbalance orders were pretty high, which drove the indices up into the close. So institutions participating up into this melt up rally. So coming off their lows nicely, still not participating. But the story is really, it's rates. And, if you look here, this is the 10-year. And you can kind of see, while we are busting out of still kind of this range in here, really, we topped this 1.7 and kind of pulled back. So, this is all positive momentum for tech. What was interesting on Friday is they were buying everything. So you had them, you had a bid on bonds, you had a bid on stocks, you had a bid on crypto. So it was just a complete melt up in all asset classes on Friday. So it was a nice little action, but some warning signs coming across the bow. Here you can see the 30-year rates just falling off a lot quicker. The yield curve is flattening, so that is definitely something to take in consideration. The long dated bonds are pricing in. They're pricing in a recession, okay, or possible recession. So very interesting news right in there. And again, GDP coming in pretty much in line. There was wild forecast all over the place, on Thursday. So GDP, I think a lot of people breathed a sigh of relief. We didn't get a negative print. Inflation had a lot to do with that. And the dollar on Friday just surging. So nice little run up, kind of bounce off this level. Still trying to get above this area here on the dollar, but still positive bullish action on the dollar on Friday. Oil kind of hanging in here, kind of flagging a little bit, from its Thursday pull down. Still trying to recover. Looks like it wants to continue. Energy stocks kind of a little bit weaker, but and metals kind of weaker as well. So if you look in here, nat gas had got back up over 6 again, but printed a declining top. So we'll see how that goes forward. Copper pulling off, silver pulling off. So a lot of the metals kind of pulling off in here, but crypto has been strong. Crypto's been strong. Bitcoin, nice move Thursday, Friday off nice technical levels, nice bounce off of the 21, nice bounce off this level right here. We talk about it all the time. Crypto, really a good technicals work really well with crypto because you don't have the computers involved. You don't have the institutions kind of manipulating and moving stuff around. You don't have the algos that are targeted based off the technicals. So again, this nice little trend line breakout, nice support in here on both these days. And of course, we're printing new highs and off we go on Ethereum. So crypto, very strong, what we're seeing. And, as far as the altcoins are concerned, I'm going to switch over to trading view here. And Ethereum still doing its thing. Shiba, the coin that we're in, just had an incredible run last week. Just incredible run. You can see here, just nice breakout. It's flagging it again. So it'll be interesting to see if it can hold this flag. You don't want to break this area, this low down in here, but nice little breakout. The other altcoins that we're looking at, this Sol is still doing well. Still like this chart in here. Cardano, ADA, you can kind of see making this little declining tops in here and trying to hold this $2 level. Matic had a really good week. Nice little breakout here in the middle of the week. Still sitting above this area here. So I like this Matic going forward. WaxP had an incredible just run up on, look at this. This is almost 100% run up on Friday before pulling back. I like this one going forward. I think it could be $2-3 by the end of the year or possibly into next year. So KDA, another one of these that we like, kind of flagging in here. Again, you just don't want to see the bottom of these little flags hold off. And Akita, which was the other coin that we kind of missed. We were talking about this one. Akita along with Shiba, another dog coin, had a nice little breakout. This one's coming off a little bit more. So they're the altcoins that we're really watching and that we're investing in. And the key is with trading, you want to make sure you spread your risk around, and you don't want to, crypto's been hot and you don't want to miss the trade, right? You don't want to miss the trade. Bitcoin's hot. Ethereum is hot. So, you just want to make sure that, all asset classes, stocks are doing well. Bonds actually had a good day on Friday, crypto doing well. So there's some of the coins that we were looking at and what we were looking at last week. So, the big thing last week, earnings, earnings season is really what we're looking at. One thing we're seeing in earnings, demand is strong, okay, but inflation and supply chain issues are still there. So Apple coming out saying they're expecting supply chain issues to continue to possibly into 2024. The key, it was a very downbeat report from Apple, yet they did come in and buy those shares up. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But earnings season overall, we kind of knew going in, it's all about expectations for the market. And the expectations were, people were worried about earnings. And really, they've not, the earnings have not been bad. We've gotten over more than half of the S&P earnings. They've beaten analyst expectations by 10%, and historically you see a 5% beat. So that's better. Of course, the last couple quarters, they've been beating analyst expectations by more than 20%. So it's definitely starting to slow down as far as this euphoria on earnings. I think we've seen the best we're going to see out of earnings, especially this quarter, but they've held up well. Profit margins have held up well. The profit margins have come in at 13%. But the question is, can he keep on raising prices? Because, corporations, they're passing it, they're navigating the supply chains pretty well. So earnings have come in pretty strong. But again, it was just, we're in this full-on melt-up mode. And it's not about, you don't get these sideways pullbacks in this type of market. You don't get these, buying opportunities. You get maybe a quick pullback, which we got in the middle of the week in here, if you look at the SPY, but typically a melt up and a surge like we're getting here. And again, we're in a nice active sequence. They just keeps on going, and the market can keep on going. And this is why you got to trade price action. So, a good lesson to have on Friday, futures really were looking weak, okay? Especially early on, you can kind of see futures were kind of nosediving in here. You had Apple that just completely from earnings was dropped down. You had Amazon, same thing. You had Starbucks, all three of those major corporations all finding it tough go here, disappointing on earnings, and yet the dip buyers came in. And the key is this is why we say you got to trade price action. So, typically, if you were to tell me that Amazon and Apple were both going to have horrible earnings, yeah, I'd say, look, it's going to be a pretty tough day to trade the markets that the next day that the market opens. Well, absolutely wasn't the case, excuse me there. And the key was and it was easy to really see, okay? Because what you got to do is you got to bracket in. We always talk about pre-market trading, and you can see this pre-market low in here, and really, the cash open pre-market high right in here. And these were the areas to kind of be your gauge in here coming into trading Friday. And this is why I always say price is the only thing that pays. You can have a thesis coming in, but it's the price action that matters. And right in here, they couldn't break this low, didn't even come down and challenge it. And the market just shot up, found support right in here. And this is your cue that they were going to, pretty much have a pretty good day in here. And you can see the market just nice recovery from the drop and the fall of the earnings. So really good lesson on Friday. If you're watching the markets, really good lesson in making sure that you're trading price action. And this is the type of market we're in. And you got to respect the market. You don't have to like it. You don't have to believe it. You just got to trade the price action. And that's what we did. And if you do that, you're going to be good going forward. So definitely interesting week. Earnings still coming in pretty strong. We have another hefty earnings week coming up. Let's talk about the week that we have coming up. On Monday, you got ON Semiconductor, you got FANG, which is one of the number one energy companies here. So they report Diamondback. You have AMC reporting on Monday. You have Pfizer, Match.com. You got Estee Lauder. You got Activision on Tuesday. Mondelez on Tuesday. Wednesday, you got CVS. You also have Humana on Wednesday for healthcare. I think they could have a solid beat. We're looking for that. QCOM, Roku, Take-Two on Wednesday. Thursday, you have Penn, Uber, Airbnb, which is kind of getting a little tight in here, and Square. Square will be interesting as they really are kind of flagging in here. Can't really get some momentum. They're facing a lot of competition in here, so it'd be interesting to see what Square comes out with. And Friday, we have DraftKings, earnings coming out, and DraftKings kind of sitting precariously low in this little level, this little pocket here. So be careful with that going forward. As far as next week, the focus is really going to be on the Fed. So we have the Fed meeting on Wednesday. We have non-farm payrolls on Friday. Monday, we do have ISM manufacturing. And then you have the Bank of England on Thursday. So all of those are going to be tight stuff that we're going to have to look at. Now, one thing I did want to say to kind of help this out Friday, and I talked about this, PCE core inflation, that's the Fed's primary clue that they use to look at inflation. It's one of the big things that they look at. Came in better than expected, or actually the core came in better than expected. It came in within expectations. So I think that helped out the market's sentiment on Friday as it came in the morning. Nice little print there. So with PCE core coming in, with the Fed coming in next week, definitely expect the Fed to announce tapering. Okay, I think there's not, I would say it's about 90% that definitely they're going to announce the start of tapering next week. Presumably, it's going to be about 15 billion per month, as they noted in their September minutes. So I think the taper will end, if they start mid-November, probably will come in and end around June 2022. And of course, analysts are going to be looking for some of the rate hike forecast going into next year. How many, when do you expect to see, are they still going to stick to full employment as one of the metrics for raising rates? That stuff that's going to be very, something very important to look at. And also some of the forecasts for GDP. Is going to be interesting, especially since we had a pretty down GDP print coming in last quarter. So the question is, are we going to get that pump up back up as far as GDP is concerned, so we can stay out of this, what the long end of the curve is saying, maybe inflationary, recessionary trend here. So PCE core inflation was up 3.6 in September, like I talked about, year over year. Still came in with expectations higher than it was in June, but still, what are they expecting from, that core inflation? Are they expecting that to come down? Because inflation is going to be key to maybe increasing or decreasing that trajectory as far as raising rates or not raising rates. So, big news. A lot of information coming in next week. Markets had a great week last week. This week, I would definitely expect a little, not a little, but a lot more volatility. We're kind of going to be playing it safe going into Wednesday, not putting on large positions, probably taking off some positions as we go into Wednesday. You can kind of see here, VIX, kind of dip below 15 in here, which has always been, usually typically a little run up, kind of, hanging in there at the 16 level for VIX. So we'll be watching that. We'll be watching the dollar. They're the two levels. Obviously, we're watching rates. You guys know now what to look at rates going forward. But this market has been impressive, and remember, bull markets climb a wall of worry. Okay. So this bull market, if we go back to the SPY, this bull market from down here, okay, when we thought the world was coming to an end, basically climbed the wall of stagflation, China, Evergrande, rate hikes, profit margins, inflation, nice little wall it climbed, and it shot right through. So now the bullishness looks just untamed and again, unchecked. And so going into this week where we have some, extreme events, especially with the tapering, I expect it to be a little bit more choppier. We're definitely waiting to get through. I'd be a little bit more careful about establishing positions during this week. You got the Fed on Wednesday. We have the unemployment number on Friday. So it's going to be definitely something the market's kind of going to be keyed into. I expect volume maybe to kind of taper off a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see how we open up on Monday, and we'll be following the rate train. But there's definitely some strong leaders in here. So the leaders last week, solar continues to lead. Look at this breakout. We talked about solar, right up in here last week, kind of was strong, was holding, got reclaimed the 200 strong. Well, just completely broke out last week. So you had some really strong solar companies. You have Sunrun. This ENPH trade that we had was just incredible, just great trader. I mean, we talked about this. They had great earnings. We talked about this gap and go, and they gapped it. They ran it up and they did well. They hit our targets, and the trailing trade just continues to keep on just running. So solar has just been incredible for solar breaking out. Nice little leaders in here. So looking nice. Also, that was sector that had a strong week was clean energy. Okay, clean energy. We kind of talked about this, led by Tesla. Just really, had a great week, was up 10%. Solar was up 12%. And really the granddaddy, the queen bee is Tesla. They're the ones that really make this sector go. And when you have Tesla in an active sequence like this, and you can see, we've talked about Tesla from in here, nice little active sequence, wedge in, and then just explosion out. Pull back in here on the gamma readjustment. But again, we got through options expiration. Tesla continued to go again, and just strong movement, which makes the other portion of the the little smaller stocks really do well. Jimmy had a good call out, I heard, on Thursday with this Lucid. Nice little breakout of this just long sideways channel in here. And when you get these nice little breakouts, they can really do well. So we'll be watching this one next week. It's got a gap to fill up in here, which is going to be interesting. And the news was they finally delivered their first set of cars. I believe they're based out of Arizona. So nice little run here in Lucid. You can see, Fisker kind of got a little bit of action going. NIO trying. The problem with NIO is it's a China company. So they're going to be a little bit leery of NIO going forward. Plug Power is one that we like in this space, and it's above its 200. Nice little breakout. So you can see the alternative energy doing really well, which leads you to believe the relationship trade would have been lithium. So lithium, nice little breakout last week. You look at LAC, nice little active sequence in here. We played this one. We talked about this one about 2-3 weeks ago. Nice little breakout of this descending trend line in here. And it's a nice active sequence, and it's just continuing going. You can kind of see broke through this 28, this little former high over here, looking nicely. LTHM having 2 good days, nice little trend line break in here, would have been a nice little trade. So able to stay above this area. We've traded this one in the past. So lithium is a nice little component that's going to do well when the alternative energy stocks are doing well. Software continues just to defy gravity, continues to be strong. Net just, it's just showing you this is an active sequence, guys. Nice little strong. And, when you're in active sequence, the value is really into this 9, sometimes into the 21, but 21 so far away that really the 9 turns to be value. So these dips are definitely paying investors to be bought. The dog pound, I got a bunch of emails by people on Friday saying the dog pound was back in action. It definitely was. And again, maybe not as strong as net because the volume, but really hasn't been what I've liked to have seen in this stock. But the 21 appeared to be a nice value zone, and they bought it up on Thursday, and Friday was a continuation play. So the software plays continue to do well. And blockchain last week. Blockchain really doing well. The one that we watch in the blockchain, I really haven't seen it get going yet, is Playboy. Just can't get the volume going in here, so it needs to get volume. It's fighting with its abbreviated 200 in here. Trying to get back above this area. It's got to get back above 30, and then maybe, we traded this all at the beginning of the year. It was just nice active sequence trader. You can see this nice active sequence in here. It was a great trader, but this stock's not ready for that yet. Blockchain, though, did do good last week. Stocks, sectors that didn't do well, oil and services, with oil pulling back. I still believe that the dip in oil is definitely something that can be bought. Kind of fell with the weak GDP report. Gold and miners kind of pulling back in here. So and you can kind of see defense kind of getting weaker, got below its 200. And we saw that with Lockheed Martin. We saw that with Boeing. Just weaker in there as far as that's concerned. And then metals and mining also, it tries this little breakout, couldn't hold back below this little breakout line. So metals and mining kind of, and we showed you some of that, not really hanging in or doing well. As far as some of the stocks that we're looking at this week, again, it's going to be a tough week. If you look at it, some strong stocks. Microsoft, just incredible. Best of breed in here, just nice. And we talked about, buying the earnings gap up, and it's just strong close in here. Nice volume. This is institutions buying accumulation into Microsoft, looking really well. INMD, this was a stock, nice breakout on Friday that we've talked about. We've traded it through here. Nice strong day on Friday, closing strong. It's a good company. Definitely looking at that one going forward. As far as what's interesting is Moderna, the vaccine stocks. Some of the stuff getting approved. You got Pfizer's getting approved for the kids under I think it's under 15. And so it's got to be a final approval through CDC, but really kind of getting tight in here. So I think you get a move possibly on the vaccine stocks. Merck, though, just absolute explosion out of here, which we kind of talked about. This was we talked about it up in here. Nice little dip buy from 80, just nice 10% move in Merck. That's a big move in Merck. And, it's in open air here and looks like it wants to continue. So it's going to be obviously tight. If Merck's moving, it's going to be tight on the vaccines. So traders not really staying in both sides. Roblox, Roblox, interesting one. It was down. It's kind of hanging in here. It looks interesting that it wants to break out of here. Their website was down a couple of days, which I thought they'd get a little bit more negative price action out of. Kind of held well in here. So I like Roblox going forward. It's one we've traded a lot. Bros, another one, again, nice little breakout mode. And if you kind of look in here, you can see this recent IPO facts. You can see nice movement in Bros there. Affirm, still, taking business away from Visa, taking business away from Square. Just nice active sequence in here. Now consolidating up near this top high here. So I think I like Affirm going forward. If we kind of look in here, you can see the monthly chart, just nice, strong monthly chart. It's already had a nice little run. Weekly chart, nice little run in here. So be careful because it has gone pretty far, pretty fast. But, this one, another one that could keep on going. Still like hot. Still in a small position in hot. Nice active sequence in here with the Bitcoin being strong. This is one of those that really, if you're looking for a crypto mining company, Hut, A lot better than this Riot is acting. Not sure why that one's so sick. Mara still doing strong. But I think HUT can be one that can continue. We had a position in Ford, came out with some decent earnings, nice earnings reaction, expecting Ford to continue its active sequence up. So, we're still sitting in Ford from down here. So we'll be trailing our stops probably to this level, this 1650 level. Make sure it doesn't violate that level, and then we'll be hopefully continue to ride. And that's more of an investment / swing trade than it is a day trade that we've been in. Snow continues to grind its way up. Like to see the volume get a little bit better. Another one of these volume ones that's just grinding. There's just no sellers. Nice little active sequence in here. So it is respecting it. Still looking nice. We talked about Lucid. OCGN, one that we've been following from Borderline, that brought it to our attention back into the chat with the afternoon show. Nice, just wild action in here as they got a delay on their news of the vaccine getting approved that they're partnered in with, but nice little ascension up. And again, they're back up to this level, so we'll see if they can kind of break through there and get going. We'll be watching that one. If you're looking for alternative, you got Nucor kind of sitting there, just hanging, flagging. I don't, not liking these wicks, but I think it's maybe kind of with the whole House bill and the infrastructure bill, whether or not that's going to get approved, not get approved. I mean, it's just been kind of crazy. Caterpillar kind of negative reaction on Friday. Nucor kind of a little bit better positioning and hanging. I like it's a better company. So we'll be watching that going next into the markets next week. So it's going to be interesting, whippy, I think, week. You still have retail that's doing well. You got Home Depot, nice little active sequence that we've been trading. Walmart, nice, from the Goldman upgrade, sitting up there nicely. You have Nvidia just, charging through past 250, which we, are watching. AMD, not, strong, but not as strong, kind of pulling back the last couple of days. So definitely strong market. We do have an IPO of note on November 3rd, which is Fed Day, is Bird, Allbirds. So I don't know if you buy the shoes, but Bird will be coming, a really interesting IPO for me on November 3rd. They are in competition with Crocs. You can see what Crocs has really done. They're almost back up near highs. Competition with Nike. Nike, nice little dip buy off the 200 here on supply chain woes, and Nike's back up. So it's going to be interesting in Birds. We'll definitely probably be following that one and seeing if the volume comes in and how they do with the pricing coming in pre-market. Still like, if you're looking at retail, still like Dollar Tree as a catch-up play. You have Costco, you have BJ's, just, really just sitting up near highs. And I think Dollar Tree, though they're not same breed, could be a retail company that kind of plays catch up in there and can kind of do kind of well. So that's about it. It's going to be, like I said, the Fed, all eyes are going to be on the Fed next week. I don't think this is a situation where we're, going to go back and do what we had back on back in 2013 when you had the SPY kind of, have that taper tantrum when they announced, you had Bernanke announce coming out of the 2007, 2008 recession, financial crisis. The SPY had a 5% correction back then. But even if you look at that, they still managed to keep on ascending up after that. It was just a small little blip on the market. So I don't expect anything like that. I think this one, it's a lot different in scenarios here. Again, remember, demand is really strong. We're dealing with a bunch of different issues, but definitely something to keep an eye out is those issues going through this week. So that's the week looking ahead. That's the markets. Some of the stocks, we're going to be a little bit not as aggressive as we were last week. But we're gonna let price action be our guide going forward.